This battery will cost you $970 or $121 per kilowatt hour. That's the cheapest price I've seen among 12-volt batteries. For comparison, the eco-worthy costs $125 per kilowatt hour. The water and the watt cycle are the same price at $142 per kilowatt hour. So that makes this the cheapest battery per kilowatt hour for 12 volts. This battery comes with a 300 amp JK BMS with active balancing. It also has a 300 amp fuse. But later in the video I'll explain why it's better to limit the current inside of the BMS to 240 amps. It also has communication, which many 12-volt batteries don't have. And it also has these 4 pieces 628 amp hour cells. Yixiang sent me this battery for testing, but they don't pay me to say nice things about it. So this video will be my own opinion. Let's get started building this battery. So let's start by taking out the front panel and this second panel so we can put the cells inside like this. There are also 3 screws on the bottom. We have to loosen these bolts. And then we can see the BMS right there, the fire extinguisher and the fuse. Then we have to remove this plate. So I just took a look at the manual. This plate goes in the back, this goes in the front. These black sheets go in between and these go on the sides. And the main positive of the battery is in the bottom right corner, going directly to the fuse. And now let's see if we can fit the 4th in easily. Plus, minus, plus, minus. And I could barely fit it in. So that's a bit of a weird design, and we have 2 sheets left. There is no movement this direction for the cells, but I can move the cells in this direction. So what I'm going to do is take these 2 sheets, cut them on the sides and fit one in here in the back and fit one in the front. So I cut those 2 at the correct size. Let's remove this plate again, pull the cells forward, stick it in the back and stick it in the front. And now for those bottom screws, I will pull the battery a little bit forward and tighten them from the undersides of the side of the table. If you're not building on a table, I think it's fine to leave the bottom 3 screws out. Let's attach this to this PCB. Let's now mount it on the battery with the balance leads on the left. Let's reconnect the bus bars in the front. And I will torque everything to spec later. This must be the display. Yes. And here we have the bus bars. And they have the serrated flange nut, which is good. These balance leads are so tiny. It's quite difficult. Got it. And in some bus bars you can see that the insulation is blocking the ring terminal, but in this case there's enough space. I like these ring terminals more than the loose temperature sensor on the cell itself. And when you're working on the battery, don't forget to wear safety glasses. And remove all your jewelry. So we have one positive here for the balance lead and one for the 12 volt for the BMS. I just got my torque wrench in the mail, so let's set it to 5 Newton meters. Surprisingly, 5 Newton meters isn't that tight. So let's now connect the communication. You can't be wrong because the pins are different. And let's add the screen as well. The button goes on the right. And then you have this connector. And the last thing we have to do is fit the lead for the fire extinguisher. In the instructions they just route it around, so that's what I will do as well. And I will use one zip tie to tie it to the case. And I will bundle these wires as well. Try to keep the wires away from the fuse, because the fuse can get hot. So now that everything is installed, we can fit the epoxy sheet on top. And then we will take a look at the BMS. So we finished installing the battery, and let's now take a look at the BMS. It's in the JK BMS app. And when you connect, you can hear the beeping of the BMS. When I first logged in, I had to enter a password, and I thought it was a default one of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But that wasn't the case. The password in my case was 1, 2, 3, 4. And it will ask you to change the password. And this is the new version of the app. Let's go to the status page. Back to home. And let's now enter the settings. And it doesn't seem like it has been programmed in the factory. So we have to program it ourselves. And to unlock the programming, you have to click the verify password button. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that's strange. Let's try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's unlocked. So I think there's now 2 passwords. Just try and see whatever works. And we have to press the LFP button for presets. And now everything is changed. And we set the cell count to 4. Press OK. And whenever you press OK, you can hear the beeping of the BMS. capacity, that's 628 amp hours. And it says now it needs to relearn the capacity. That means this is not accurate. It will only be accurate if the battery is charged to 100%, and then it will recalibrate itself. Let's see if the other settings are correct. Balance start voltage should be 3.45. Overvoltage protection correct. Undervolt protection 2.5, that's correct. Continue with charge 240, and I will tell you why in a second. And continue discharge also 240. So why do I set this current? The fuse is 300 amps, and you should never load the fuse to 100%. So if we divide 300 amps by the safety factor of 1.25, we become 240 amps. And a cable that can carry at least 240 amps is 2 aught or 70 millimeters square. So in this case, we are never loading the fuse to 100%. Otherwise, it will get very hot. Let's check the other parameters. Charge under temperature protection should be set to 0. We should set the charge under temperature protection recovery to 1. And then the charge under temperature protection to 0. And then it will work. So we will now charge the battery to recalibrate the BMS, and I will see you back in 1 or 2 days. We are the next day, and I charged the battery until 100%, and the BMS balanced the battery by itself. That's because it has a 2 amp built-in active balancer, so the top balance was quite fast. I did change some parameters in the BMS as well, and here are my settings of the BMS. Next, I will do a 240 amp load test on the battery to see if it gets hot. And I will see you back in 15 minutes. We are 15 minutes later, and let's take a look at the battery temperatures. On the top, it's not hot, so that's good to see. Then let's move on to the BMS. And the temperature of the BMS is 47 degrees Celsius. And the bus bar is also quite hot at 60 degrees Celsius. Now the hottest point in this battery, which you already guessed, is the fuse at 75 degrees Celsius. So the hottest point in the battery was the fuse. The fuse is rated with AR, meaning it's a fuse designed to protect electronics. That means it will clear a short circuit very fast. However, the trade-off is that it will carry high currents for longer. I found a similar datasheet of the same fuse, and it only tripped at 3x the rated current. So if the current is below 900 amps for this fuse, it might not trip at all. This fuse runs hotter because of the way it's built, with many thin fuse elements in parallel. That design means the fuse will get hot. There's no way around that. And it's a trade-off for speed. But the speed will protect your BMS, and they are commonly used in EVs and battery systems. Then you have another kind of fuse rated with GG, meaning it's a fuse designed for inrush currents. This has thicker fuse elements inside, which will make it run cooler, and it will blow at about 1.6 the rated current, so it's perfect for protecting your cables. But because it's made for inrush current, it will not clear a short circuit as quickly as the AR fuse, and your BMS will get damaged if you use this kind of fuse. So with the fuse inside of this battery, it will break the short circuit quickly and save the BMS electronics. Well, this fuse might take too long to blow because of the way it's built. And when you build the battery, make sure you use zip ties to clear away the communication cables from the fuse. You still need to use these kinds of fuses after the battery box to protect your cables. The fuse inside of the battery box only protects against a short circuit. If you have a 2000 watt inverter, you would need a 250 amp fuse and a 1 aught or 50 mm square cable. But I made a whole video dedicated on how to choose your main battery fuse. So let's wrap up this review by giving you my pros and cons of this battery. The first is that you have full control of the battery. No other 12V battery allows this control. And it's serviceable. That makes it great to check connections over time. But if you're in an RV, I recommend applying thread lock to all the connections so it doesn't loosen over time. It has communication, it has a screen, a built-in 300 amp fuse with high short circuit current ratings, and it comes with a manual. That's great for when you're assembling the battery. And now the cons about this battery. If the fuse blows, it is not available on their website. So you have to contact Yixiang and tell them you need another fuse, and then they will send it to you. But that will take a while. In Europe, the EF3 fuse is available, but I haven't found it in the US. This battery is very heavy at about 55 kilos or 120 pounds, so you will need 2 people to carry it. There is no disconnect switch on the battery, but you can add your own as well. In my opinion, the other screen of the JK BMS is better. And the last con is about the BMS. Yixiang should have programmed the BMS in their factory. So if this video review helped you in making your purchase decision, I will leave a link in the video description. I would appreciate it if you buy through that link. I'll get a small percentage at no extra cost to you. So this was a fun one to build and to review. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.